ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard.
Welcome back to Wanderlust Reports. I'm Alain, and on this channel I take you with me to explore some of the world's most interesting flights and stays, from premium cabins in the sky to luxury hotels on the ground. Today I'm once again at Bangkok Suvarnabhumi Airport, about to board a long-haul flight. A little while ago, I flew into Thailand with Austrian Airlines in premium economy, and now I'm heading back to Europe on the same return ticket, but this time with their sister airline, Swiss, also in premium economy. So, how does it compare? Let's find out. No matter which Lufthansa Group airline you're flying with, when it comes to these systems, you'll be treated as a Lufthansa passenger. Since I had already checked in online, all I needed was a luggage tag. Once I got it, I asked the staff where the baggage drop counter was, and they told me it was 2 rows over, but also that I'd only have to wait about 10 minutes if I stayed here. So I decided to just wait in line and drop my suitcase at the regular check-in counter. Big mistake. There was only one economy counter, no dedicated premium economy counter, and it was completely blocked by a passenger with some kind of issue. We had to wait until all the business class passengers were checked in before they let us use the business counters. In the end, it took me 40 minutes just to drop off my bag, even though there were only 5 people ahead of me in the line. Talk about poor organization. Anyway, did you know there's an observation deck at Suvarnabhumi? As the aviation geek I proudly am, and since I still had a bit of spare time, I headed up to the 7th floor to check it out. Well, you can see some planes from up there, which is nice, but the view is partly blocked by the terminal's roof structure. So to be honest, it's not much of an observation deck. Pretty disappointing. In fact, you actually get a better view from the floor just below, though there's nowhere to sit, so don't expect to stay long. Time to go through security and passport control. Quick and efficient, as always here at Suvarnabhumi. Now let's check our gate. Once again, my flight's departing from the new Satwan satellite. I won't film it in detail this time, but if you want a closer look, check out the video I made about Satwan last month. You'll find everything you need to know there. Gate 115, and our ride is already waiting, perfectly positioned with Suvarnabhumi's main terminal as a stunning backdrop. Here's HBJNG, our Boeing 777-300ER, just 8 years old and looking sharp. They only started boarding 15 minutes before departure, not nearly enough time to fill a 777. So a delay was pretty inevitable. Alright, let's dive into Swiss Premium Economy seat and see what it's really like. The touchscreen is noticeably larger than in economy, and it's both fast and responsive. The seat pitch is excellent. I'm 6'1" and I had plenty of legroom, no problem at all. You're given a small bottle of water, and there's a convenient space on the armrest where you can place bottles or glasses. Quite practical. The front button here lets you raise the footrest, though I found it too short for my leg. The rear button adjusts the angle of the seat pan, letting you tilt the sitting part of your seat shell for added comfort. That one was really useful. They provide what look like comfortable headphones, possibly with noise reduction, though I can't say for sure, since I didn't use them. I always prefer to stick with my own. There's a USB port tucked under the armrest, but it's not the easiest to reach. Below the water bottle holder, there's a second USB port and a power outlet. Again, very convenient, but like the first one, not the easiest to access. Before we push back, they serve a refreshing red berry juice. As you can see, the tray table is impressively large and wide. The amenity kit comes in this papier-mâché pouch that doesn't look like much. Honestly, it's pretty poor looking. As for the contents, it's really just the basics. Nothing special for a premium economy amenity kit. Time to check out the menu. Let's see what's in store for us on this 11-hour journey. When it comes to wine, we're clearly not dealing with anything top shelf. The French Syrah, for example, is a bottle that retails for about $8.50 in France. This tray table is definitely one of the largest I've ever had in a premium economy seat. For someone with long legs like me, this footrest is pretty much useless. The premium economy cabin is located in the middle of the plane, which means the windows sit right above the wings. Not ideal if you're hoping for a good view. We're finally on the move, 40 minutes behind schedule, and it's time for the safety video. It is forbidden to place hand luggage in front of the bulkhead seats or the emergency exit. Let's take a look at the in-flight entertainment system and see what it has to offer. There are over 200 movies available in a wide range of languages, a pretty solid selection. Plenty of TV series as well. I won't run out of things to watch. Music-wise, it's the same story. Lots of variety, something for everyone. They even offer audiobooks, and with more than 11 hours of flight ahead, you've got plenty of time to finish when you've started. There's also a large selection for kids with movies, shows and games, plenty of things to keep them busy. Time for a late lunch, and things kick off nicely with a cup of nuts and a glass of tomato juice. Then comes the main meal, served on a tray, a bit more presentable than what you usually get in economy. I've got to say, the meal was okay. The massaman curry in particular was really tasty. But I had wanted the chicken breast, but by the time they reached my row, the very last in premium economy, it was already gone. They did offer me to bring a tray from economy with chicken breast, but honestly, what's the point of paying nearly twice as much for premium if you end up with the same meal as economy? Best part? Real metal cutlery, none of those dreadful wooden things they hand out in economy now. Another good point? You get a Lindor chocolate with your tea or coffee. Classic Swiss flying. By the time the meal is over, we are flying over India and soon turning north. On that day, it was clearly not considered safe to fly over Iranian airspace. In between the two meals, we were offered these small sandwiches, a simple but welcome mid-flight bite. After enjoying two good movies, and if you get the chance, I recommend Better Man, it was time for the second meal service. I'll be honest, the stir-fried noodles look questionable, but they actually tasted better than expected. All in all, the food on this flight was adequate. Definitely a step up from what you get in economy, but nothing I'd call great. While descending into Zurich, the IFE keeps us informed about our gate and where to pick our luggage. Smooth landing. We touched down 18 minutes late. No surprise considering the delayed boarding and the detour around Iran. Just like during departure in Bangkok, we have to take an automated shuttle to reach the main terminal. Zurich isn't my final destination. I've got a 2-hour layover here before catching my connecting flight to Paris. Since Zurich is my point of entry into the Schengen area, I have to go through passport control here. Remember that so-called observation deck at Suvarnabhumi? Now this is the real deal. Just like my inbound flight to Bangkok, I booked this as part of a round-trip ticket, combining this Swiss flight with the Austrian Airlines, which I reviewed recently. The total cost from Paris to Bangkok and back was 1,051 euros, which means this premium economy flight came to 525 euros, or about $578. And that wraps up my flight with Swiss in premium economy. While the in-flight entertainment was truly excellent, both in screen quality and content, and the aircraft itself was spotless, the overall experience left me a bit underwhelmed. The check-in process in Bangkok was painfully slow, and both the meal quality and onboard service were just average. In the end, I'm giving this flight a score of 15.2 out of 20. Decent, but clearly a step below the 17.1 I gave to the inbound leg with Austrian Airlines. Would I fly premium economy with the Lufthansa group again? Yes, without a doubt. But if I can choose, I'll pick Austrian Airlines, or maybe Lufthansa over Swiss.